Hello, my loves. Welcome to the podcast, Love Letters from Your Higher Self. I'm so happy to have you here, and I'm so happy to be here. Okay, so today's reading is gonna be not a pick a card reading, it's gonna be a collective reading. And for now, I'm thinking I'm going to switch to just collective readings. I did the same thing for my Russian pick a card podcast. It's not a pick a card podcast anymore. Because I've been struggling with making myself to record pick a card readings. They are time consuming and energy consuming, but for some reason, I couldn't switch to collective readings because in my mind, collective readings were not as personal. And then I talked to AI about this, and it helped me understand that even if it's a pick a card reading, it's still a collective reading. And it's easy to understand when we take, for example, a big YouTube channel that has 500,000 people, right? And even if the author, the reader, does 3 readings for 3 groups, it's still a big amount of people choosing one or the other group. One of the 3 groups. And it's still kind of collective for them. But because they chose it, there is this, there is this illusion of this reading being personal, which is in reality, every reading in those 3 groups is still multi-layered, right? And when it's a collective reading, it's still multi-layered, and still people will take what resonates, because it's usually even if I listen to my own readings made for myself, on one day I will get one thing, on another day I will understand something else. And depending on what I'm going through in life, the same reading may resonate with different areas of my life, And so it helped me understand that I was basically, when I was doing pick a card readings, I was basically still doing those multi-layered collective readings. And I feel right now in this phase of my life, it's easier for me to do collective readings. So maybe I will at some point return to pick a card readings, but I am hopeful that my collective readings will still be beneficial and still be supportive for you guys. And I understand that it may not be everyone's cup of tea, but I'm fine with that, because if I give myself permission to do it the way I want to do it, at least I will do it. Because if I try to do something that makes sense for to you guys, but I have resistance, I will just not do it, and I will not record supportive readings for you at all. And so now it's gonna be a podcast of collective readings, and I hope you understand, and I hope you accept that. And let's pretend that it's a big collective reading. It's a big pick a card reading, and it's just that you and I and everyone's listening just chose one group, right? And when I set an intention before I pull cards, I always say, what are my listeners, current and future, need to know right now? And I trust that if you found this podcast and if you listen to it regularly, then there is something in it for you. And if you listen to it sporadically, sometimes you don't, sometimes you do, sometimes you like the title of the podcast and sometimes you don't, then this is how you will select intuitively what's for you and what's not for you, okay? And also I have this vision that at some point this podcast will have so many episodes that you could just, randomly scroll with your eyes closed and just pick a random Like just, choose a random episode and it's going to be for you. And it's going to be with reading that will feel personal because like you intuitively chose this for you as an answer to your question, for example. So yeah, that's all with the updates. And also I need to tell you, like, I feel like I'm saying this in every reading, maybe not, maybe I'm more talking about it in my Joyous to Be podcast. But like, I have an ADHD. I think I need to start here. I have an ADHD, which is not diagnosed. It's self-diagnosed. And like, I have been trying so hard to put myself like into a structure, to put a structure on, how do I say it? Like to have a structure and to have like a specific schedule. So the episodes I post would, be published on a predictable time. And every time I do that, I fail. Like the OCD part of me really thrives on creating schedules. And then the ADHD part of me really resists then doing what I should do. And I end up not doing things at all and like negotiating with myself for months before actually recording. And in this phase of my life, I decided to, live this experiment where I don't make myself do things that I don't feel like doing. I have somewhat Russian part of me started speaking. I have somewhat of a structure which is just based on my values. Like there are a lot of projects that I started and that I don't want to finish because I love them. I love doing them. But that's all the structure that I have. I just remember about them and I just, try to do each before I start over, like with a list of them. And, and that's it. And that's why, like, the hardest part of this experiment for me was to accept that I won't be able to just, give you the exact schedule and say that, like, this episode is going to be, like, a new episode is going to be uploaded, like, every Tuesday or even, like, every, I don't know, first Monday of every month or something like that. They are completely random. I don't know when inspiration hits. Like, I can't predict that. And I need to accept that. And I need to trust that you, my listeners, will accept that too. And yeah. So I think that's all I wanted to say. Thank you for understanding. And today's reading is going to be about, so I pulled 3 cards and it's not about what you need to know right now. It's about what you need to remember, what you need to be reminded of right now. I was going to say today, but like it depends on the day when you listen to it. It's not date specific. So if you listen to it right away or if you listen to it like 5 years from now, it doesn't matter. Like if you found this reading, you needed to find this reading. And it has something for you. So yeah, like I pulled 3 cards and maybe it's not going to be something that, like completely new, but it's going to be something supportive and something that you need to be reminded of today. Okay, let's go. Let's go. So I will open the cards one by one. And the first thing that you need to be reminded of is that, like, it's just, I feel like it's just a reminder to do a gratitude practice. Like, you need to remind yourself, and I need to remind you that you have so many beautiful things in your life. You have so many beautiful people in your life. You have so much in your life. And like, even if you are struggling with the lack in your life right now, I was going to say with the lack mentality. Well, yeah, and with the lack that you observe in your life caused by this lack mentality, maybe, you still need to, like, I see it as a practice. How about you start with the gratitude practice? How about you just start naming things? You know what I do? I will share with you. So I attended feminine healing ministry. Like, I don't know how to say it in English. In English. Like, I was a part of this program, and I still am, and I'm still rewatching the videos. And Adina, our teacher, was teaching us, and I will leave the link for you if you're interested. She was teaching us, like, I was going to say, like, among everything. She was teaching us the art of prayer. And like, the only homework that she had for us was about praying every day. And I, for, like, again, depends on the day. I sometimes really struggle with this discipline to just, like, set aside 10 minutes of my time to actually pray. But recently, like 2 months ago, I started doing 10K steps every day. I got really inspired by some Reddit thread, and I started doing 10K steps at home, because I'm a hermit, because I'm an introvert, because I love being at home. And for me, like, all those 10K steps things were impossible, because I needed to actually, like, get dressed and get out. And I sometimes I don't want to get out of the house, especially right now, because it's freaking hot where I live. And I just, like, I thought I loved summer when I lived in Siberia, like, because summers were not so hot. They were, like, warm, mild weather, nice, amazing. They were just amazing and rainy and, like, adorable, and I loved and I miss those summers so much. But now I live in central Russia, and, like, summers are super hot, and it's just crazy hot, and I am so miserable. I spend, like, 3 months inside with the air conditioner on, and still closer to September, like, in August, I'm the most miserable. And so for me, finding a way to do 10K steps at home was just such an amazing solution. I don't have a walking pad. I don't have a treadmill. I just am at home, and I calculated that in order to do 10K steps a day, I need to do, like, 11-minute walks, or, like, running in place, or like aerobic dance, like when we do different kind of steps, like side steps, or, like, I don't know, 4 steps forward, 4 steps back, and stuff like that. Or just pacing around my apartment. Like, I need to do 11-minute workouts 6 or 7 times during the day, and I do them, like, I do 11 minutes, and then I set the timer for myself for, like, an hour and a half, and in an hour and a half I do another one, and, like, those 11-minute workouts end up being spread, like, what's the phrasal verb? Spread around the day, and, like, it's easy, it's doable, and it's like a reset time for me. I listen to a podcast, or I listen to music and sing along, and 11 minutes is not so hard. And the first 11-minute workout, I also pray. So, like, the way I start my day is I wake up, I go have breakfast, and then after breakfast, I just walk in a place in front of the window and I talk to God. And it was just, like, it was the most consistent prayer practice for me for a long time. And I usually end up going over 11 minutes, and usually I just set the workout timer for, like, 22 minutes. And I just pray, and then after I'm done with my prayer, I also name 15 things I'm grateful for. And depending on a day, and depending on how I feel, I either do 15 things I'm really grateful for, or 15 things that are not so bad in my life right now, or, like, 15 things that are more or less okay, or, like, 15 things that I'm just so happy about. Like, and this is why I decided to tell you this. Like, start with the gratitude practice. And I feel like maybe some of you listen to this right now, and they are asking like, what is the point in this gratitude practice? The point is to remind yourself of what you have that you're happy with. Like, the goal is never to make yourself like something that you don't like. But the goal is to set your reticular activation system. Is this how it's called? Reticular activating system in your brain to notice something that makes you feel good. And I especially like combining, like I heard it somewhere a long time ago, many years ago, and this is how I do my gratitude practice. I name the thing that I'm grateful for, and then I also name how it makes me feel. Like, for example, right now, I'm very, very grateful that I have a place, like I have a separate place in my apartment where I'm sitting in front of my PC. And before we moved the furniture around with my husband, I was sitting in the middle of the room, and my room is not, we live in a 1-room apartment right now. And this room is not square, but it's almost square, only one side of it, one corner is missing, it's not exactly the square. And we have, I don't know how to explain this to you, but it's just that one side that is closer to the windows, one side of our apartment is wider. And where I sit is the opposite side. And it's just this little tiny space. And there's a wall. And behind that wall, there is another room. And and I am sitting in this tiny space where there is just maybe 3 meters long. I mean, maybe 2 meters long and 3 meters wide. And it makes me feel so good. It's my little tiny space where I'm not in the middle of a big space. I don't know why am I telling you this and how is this relevant? But I was just giving it an example, and I wanted to give you an authentic example. So I'm really grateful right now that we moved the furniture around, and I ended up having this little corner that is just me. It's my things. And I'm not visible to my husband when he's at home. It's not that I have something to hide from him, but I'm such an introvert and such a hermit that it's just nice for me to have this personal space where he's not walking around me all the time. And I'm just a little bit, separated from him. And it makes me feel like I have my personal space. It makes me feel like I'm in my zone, and I'm not bothered, even though we talk all the time when he's at home. And it's really not about that. I love being at home with him. I enjoy his company so much. We're both introverts. We can just be together and just stay silent, and be busy with our own things. But it makes me feel like I can breathe because it makes me feel like I can breathe because there is more space between us, and I just value my personal space so much. And when you do this practice, this gratitude practice like this, you just focus on if you're not in the headspace of just being incredibly grateful for life, you can start small with what is not so bad, what is okay in my life right now, and still name the feelings. Because when you name the feelings and if you slow down to actually feel those feelings inside of you, when you name them, you're doing so much in just this one practice, you focus on something that works for you, and you focus on the feelings that make you feel good, and you raise your vibration, and you become a vibrational match for more things like that. And the first thing that you needed to know, and I opened just one card, is that not everything is bad in your life right now. There are things that are good that maybe you're not noticing, and maybe like the hard things outweigh the good things, but like it's a discipline, and it's what I want to say it's what you owe to yourself out of self-love to also notice things, like as an act of self-love, to also notice things that are good. It's like, the vision that came to mind right now is your inner child is struggling already, like if you're in a tough situation, right? And like your inner child is struggling, and especially it's struggling when your inner adult is just, going about their life with affirmations like life sucks and this is hard and this is hard and this is hard and oh my God, nothing is working and blah, blah, blah. And like, how would you comfort a child? Could you comfort yourself like you're comforting a child? Because you are comforting your inner child. And like, by doing that, you're setting yourself free on so many levels, right? But like emotionally, you will feel much better. And this is like the first thing that you needed to know. I opened the next card. And I feel like, I was questioning myself as I was talking about this now, because I'm like, I feel like I'm talking to people who are struggling right now. And maybe it's not the case. Like, it doesn't have to be the case. But I'm opening the second card, and it's Three of Swords. So I would say that on the one hand, I guess many of you who listen to this right now are struggling with something. On the other hand, I want to say, like, even if you're not, we're still gonna be talking about the mindset. And like, it's okay to struggle with something. It's okay to be in a good place emotionally, mentally, physically, and still thrive for something else, thrive for something better. And this is what unites us all, like whether you are in a crappy situation right now or whether you are in a good situation, good position right now, we all want something. And it's okay to trust our desires. I wrote a post recently about this on my English Instagram account, that was about that, like, you need to trust your desires instead of trying to analyze and overanalyze them, because your desires are your living force. Like, the fact that you want something better for you means that, like, even if you don't feel worthy, like even if consciously you don't feel worthy, there is this part of you that feels worthy of something better. And we can trust that part of us. And what you need to know is that, I was going to say, I'm going to use this word again, the word duality. And I have problems with, I don't have problems with this word, but if you listened to the Joyous to Be podcast, I had this inner drama about this word because, as you probably already know and hear and guessed, English is not my guest. Yeah, as you guessed. English is not my English is not my first language. And so I was doing this collective reading once on the Joyous to Be podcast, and I was talking about duality, but for some reason, I used the word duplicity. And I was like talking about duality, but using the word duplicity. And then I think I recorded 2 podcasts before I actually thought of checking the word. And it turned out that I was using the wrong word. And I was like, oh my God, I was ashamed of myself. And I was like, I'm never going to record podcasts in English again because I just made such a stupid mistake. And I was going to use this word again. Like, it's about the duality of life, and the fact that you're going through something right now does not mean that everything that is good in life does not matter, And you absolutely don't need to feel guilty for enjoying the things that bring you joy when you're going through something. And it's even the opposite. When you allow yourself to also enjoy things that are joyful for you, you're pulling yourself out of the reality where there are more bad things, than good things. And Abraham Hicks say that if you have 10 areas of your life, nine of which are in a crappy situation, but you have one. No, actually, what was the right way? I think the first example was that if you have 9 areas of your life and 9 of them are going great and one of them is not going great, if you're going to focus on that one that is not going great, it will affect the other 9 and they will also stop going great. But if you have 10 areas of your life and 9 of them are shitty and one of them is good, but you focus on the one that is good, it will also transform the other 9. This is why gratitude practice is so important. I feel like today's reading is in general is about gratitude practice. This is something that but you needed to be reminded of, right? But it's so important. It's just so important to to see your glasses half full. And I don't believe that it's a toxic positivity. I don't remember who I listened to. There was some content creator. I think it was someone's podcast, or maybe it was a video, and maybe even it was, I can't remember who that was, but I liked how they said that there is no such thing as toxic positivity. Positivity is positivity. Positivity pulls you out of a bad state when you follow it. And it's by definition cannot be toxic. Now, you may not agree with this. And you feel free to have your own opinion about this. And I always say, trust yourself more than you trust me, right? But for the sake of this reading, I want to say that, the third card that I opened was about that. Together with the gratitude practice, the most important thing you need to be grateful for is you. And this is where self-love comes into play, I don't know how to say it, but I think you understand me. This is where it's important to remember about the power of self-love. And the biggest asset that you have in your life is you. Because you are the creator of your reality and all the answers lie within you. And if you follow your guidance, if you don't go into things that feel bad, and if you follow things that bring you joy, and if you change the way you talk to yourself, and if you choose to love and support and accept yourself exactly where you are right now. I remember this affirmation made me cry so many times, where I would just say, when I started doing mirror work, according to Louise Hay's book, I don't remember in which book actually she was talking about mirror work. I think in every book she talks about mirror work, right? So when I started doing this mirror work, I remember the affirmation that Louise Hay offered was, I love and accept myself, or I love and approve of myself, or I love and support myself. And I had no problem saying that. Well, after some time, of course. But then I changed it to, I was doing mirror work, and I think I was saying this affirmation that I love and approve of myself, and I love and accept myself. And there was this resistance coming up that was saying that, in general, I do love and accept myself, but I just, I don't like where I am right now. And this is when I changed the affirmation to, I love and accept myself exactly the way I am right now. I love and approve of myself exactly the way I am right now. And it was just so powerful. And it made me cry every time, because it was just, like in general, I loved myself. But in the specific situation where I was, in the specific life experience where I was back then, I was not able to accept so many things about where I am, because I had such high expectations of where I was supposed to be or where I needed to be. By now, by then, it was just so hard for me to accept myself. And this is what I was working on. And this is what I wanted to share, to tell you right now. The biggest asset that you have in your life is you. You have desires in you. You have strengths in you. And when you choose to change your life, nothing can stop you. And every change in your life starts with you just choosing to be on your side no matter what. And you are this glass that is half full no matter what's going on. And you are this cup that needs to be filled no matter what's going on. And filled with love, filled with care, filled with positive inner monologue, or outer. I don't know. I love talking to myself out loud. And you need to take care of yourself, and you need to listen to your inner guidance, and you need to, focus on feeling good and healing yourself from this, this focusing on only things that don't work. And maybe, just maybe, things that you're going through right now are meant to actually tell you that you need to pause and take care of yourself. It's what happened to me a month ago, where I was just really struggling with the schedules that I created for myself, because it was fun creating them, but it was just not fun at all trying to do them, to follow those structures and schedules. And I thought that there was something wrong with me, because I could have been so productive, but I wasn't. And it just sucked. And I got distracted by my cat, because she's okay. She eats plastic plastic bags sometimes. And she was just passing by one that my husband just left on his table and forgot to throw away. And my cat was walking on his table, and I thought that I would have to pause this recording and go throw away that bag. But she's okay. She ignored it for some reason. She sometimes does that. What an amazing cat. What was I saying? A month ago, it was really hard for me to do what I planned to do. And I thought that I could have been so productive, but I just couldn't be productive. And I started healing that. I started working on that. And I realized that instead of trying to fix myself, I needed to actually listen to myself and trust my flow, and trust what I wanted to do. And as an ADHD person, it was just so important for me to trust my flow, because if I when I tried to make myself do something, it would take me days to negotiate with myself. And if I don't allow myself to quote unquote procrastinate, I felt completely unproductive. And when I decided to trust my flow and actually see what's going to happen if I do, it turned out that I still negotiate with myself on some things that I need to do. It's still like the negotiation can still last 4 days, but I allow myself to procrastinate and I'm still productive, because like if I don't want to do this, but I follow my interest, I do many other things and I'm still productive. Like recording an episode of Love Letters from Your Higher Self took me like 4 days. For 4 days, I would wake up every morning and think, okay, today I'm going to record an episode. And then during the day, I'm like, nope, I want to do other things. And before that, like a year ago, when I was leaving this experiment, I would get really discouraged and get really upset that like there's something wrong with me, or it probably means that I need to shut down this podcast because like it's obviously something that I don't want to do, you know? And right now I'm wiser. I decided to just trust my flow, and I decided that like some things are important to me. And even if it takes me 3 days or 4 days or I don't know, 2 weeks to not make myself, but like to convince myself, to remind myself why it's important, so be it. But in the meantime, I will do a lot of useful things too. And I did, and I was super productive, and I'm so proud of myself. And here I am recording an episode that took me like 36 minutes of recording. And this is why I struggled with it, because I knew that once I stop talking, I won't be able to stop. Once I start talking, I won't be able to stop. And this is why I was resisting it. But I think that it turned out good. And I hope it was helpful, you guys. And like, we talked about a lot of things. And I think that the title I will choose will be something about gratitude. Reminder that you need a gratitude practice in your life or something like that. But yeah, I feel like that's all I wanted to say. And I'm gonna end this here. Thank you so much for listening. I appreciate you. I appreciate you being here. I appreciate you listening. I want to remind you that I have another podcast, Joyous to Be podcast. It has more episodes than this one. But I needed to check my cat. Sorry for the pause, because my cat is under the table, and sometimes she chews on the cables, and I needed to check if she's doing that, and I need to kick her out of there. But like I was going to say about the Joyous to Be podcast, it started as a podcast where I was just sharing my ideas, sharing what I learned about life and like all that. And currently it's also a collective reading podcast. Only there I do collective readings on the topics that I choose that are, that spark my curiosity. So like, if you are interested, I would love to have you there as my listener too. And and that's all. I hope you are well, and I hope this reading was helpful, and I will talk to you next time. Bye.